Okay, so imagine if a major media company went big into Twitch. I'm talking investing tons of money, making 50 hours of content, basically launching a mini TV channel on Twitch. It would be huge, it would be a game changer. Well, all that actually happened, but you didn't hear about any of it. Why? Because it exploded in less than a day in the dumbest way I've ever heard of. All right, before we get into it, I want to remind you guys that we have a tips line. Is there a story that you think we need to cover on Don't At Me? Well, just send us an email and let us know. And don't forget to sub to the channel so that you know when that video goes live. All right, so again, this is the story of a Twitch channel that blew up in a matter of hours after going live, and did so for the dumbest reasons I've ever heard of. It started with this French media company called Webedia Group, which is an extremely French name, but whatever. Anyway, they launched this show called Le Live on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, pretty much everything that you can stream live on. The idea was to basically have this live TV channel on Twitch. So from 5 p.m. to midnight every day, they would stream live programming. It would be hosted by French comedians, internet celebrities, and content creators. And they had some pretty big names on their programs. Like, not so big that you've probably heard of them because, you know, they're French and our analytics say that you're not. But there was a YouTuber with over 13 million subs, a former Canal Plus TV host, and the former Miss France for some reason. So they were combining big names with a consistent streaming schedule. It seems pretty straightforward, right? Like, it's not a guaranteed formula for Twitch success. Nobody was staring at a wall for 7 hours, but it seems like a pretty smart play from a media company trying to get a broader audience on Twitch. They launched on February 3rd, and they lasted like 5 whole minutes before things started to go wrong.
Diner chez Webedia, et ouais, YouTube money.
Twitch tends to ban people who use racial slurs on live streams. But that's not the only thing that happened. They had some pretty weird audio issues. And a really bizarre Hitler joke.
C'est-à-dire qu'on va te poser des questions et tu dois répondre le plus mal possible.
D'accord.
D'accord?
Ok.
T'as capté?
Ouais.
Ok. T'es prête?
Ouais.
Qui était le 5e président de la 5e République?
Hitler.
Look, I don't think making a bad Hitler joke is a reason to get banned, if it was a reason they got banned at all. But I do want to take a moment to highlight just how bad this joke is. Like, it's not offensive at all. It's just not a joke. They asked her for a wrong answer, and she gave one. I have no idea what's supposed to be funny about it.
Don't get it.
Anyway, for some context, French comedy tends to be, let's say, edgier than we're used to in North America. That's not to say that it makes things like using racial slurs okay, but it does mean that it makes sense that a French company might not see that as necessarily leading to an immediate ban. Apparently in France, they just think that only Americans are offended by the N-word. And if you want some evidence of that, the French newspaper Le Parisien wrote an article about this whole thing, and they dropped the N-bomb twice trying to explain the situation to their audience. Then they translated it as, quote, one of the most taboo phrases in the American vocabulary.
Oh shit.
Anyway, generally speaking, people really didn't seem happy with the show's offerings. Apparently, people were throwing up resident sleepers in the chat over on their YouTube stream. Even people outside of France noticed this whole mess. A post on livestream fails got huge, and people were losing their minds about how fucking dumb it was. Le Parisien, that French newspaper I mentioned earlier, reached out to Webedia, the company behind this whole show, and they said that the whole situation was, quote, far from perfect, which, yeah, obviously. They actually said at the time that they weren't sure why they got banned, and they went on to say that the whole situation is really complicated to manage so many streams on different platforms. And listen, I don't want to judge. I don't think that that's the part that anyone thought was not complicated. I think the part that's not complicated is keeping your talent from using racial slurs on a live broadcast. Anyway, their Twitch channel is actually back now, though they don't store any VODs. So the only thing left from their disaster of a launch is clips people re-uploaded to Twitter. And look, this kind of stuff does happen all the time. People do and say things they really aren't supposed to, they get banned, they come back. Doc went into a bathroom, Amaranth had a wardrobe malfunction, hell, Sadakis got banned for using the exact same word that the dude on this stream did. But there is a big difference here. Those people are all individuals. They know that sometimes they'll fuck up, get a little out of control, and it's gonna suck for them, but they can bounce back. This show, Le Live, it's part of a massive media company. Webedia runs a ton of huge websites in France, and this was supposed to be a big break into Twitch for them. The launch going this badly shot the whole thing in the foot. It's not the kind of thing you can just bounce back from. Making a comeback after being banned just hours after starting your stream is the kind of thing that an edgy streamer with a strong personality can pull off. But it's gonna be a hell of a lot harder for some faceless company that no one necessarily cares about. Did you guys hear they're making a Neopets TV show? Remember Neopets?
Scientology apparently took over Neopets.
What?
Yeah.
How? Scientology took over Neopets is not a sentence I thought I would hear at 11 o'clock on a Monday. Or Tuesday. From the outline, Neopets' quiet relationship with Scientology. Neopets was run by Scientologists. Executives even suggested adding religious principles to the game. Wow. My whole childhood has been just like completely shifted. Was I being brainwashed by Scientologists? I didn't play much Neopets. I probably like messed around with it for a month. I have to check in on my. It was very popular in like my middle school. I have to check in on my girlfriend because she was a huge Neopets fan, and she may just be like secretly praising Xenu.
Look for a shrine at your house.
Yeah, I've got to like pull out the floorboards.